Hello, my name's Haley Kelly, and this is my statement video. So, the first question asks what cultural identities, values, and experiences led you to consider a career in counseling? So, whenever I was younger, I've always been a reader. I always read a lot of books about just mental health, the main characters struggling with mental health. It was something I've been interested in since I was like 12 or 13. Um, and then whenever I went to high school, I took an AP psychology course, and that was super interesting to me. So I decided to go on and major in psychological sciences whenever I did my undergrad. Um, Another thing is I feel like a lot of counselors also say this is that they feel like they're like the helpful friend. um, like, I feel like I'm kinda like the shoulder to cry on. People come to me when, they're dealing with emotional stress, just for advice and different stuff with friends. But yeah, that's I feel like a lot of people say similar things as well. So the next question is, how did your family/friends talk about mental health when growing up? I feel like growing up in, like, the Gen Z generation, I feel like all my friends have always been really understanding about mental health. Everyone, um, like, the stigma kind of isn't there for our generation. I feel like my friends have always had a really understanding kind of conversation surrounding those topics, but my family kind of always saw mental health as, like, a overreaction, or they just didn't understand, like, which I get. Like, when I look at somebody with addiction, like, I'm not seeing that as, like, reflecting on their character or who they are, but I'm seeing it as a disease that they're struggling with, and that's not something that, like, my family can understand, and I've even explained that sometimes, and, like, they just don't get it. And there's also, like, they have a lot of stigma surrounding a lot of, like, mental health disorders that they don't understand at all, like schizophrenia. Like, my mom will bring that up a lot, and, she sees it as a really scary thing when it doesn't have to be a really scary thing. This is somebody struggling with something, like, they're not a monster, which she doesn't say that, but I think she's just really scared of what she doesn't understand, and I get that. Um, when I was younger, things weren't really talked about. I feel like now that I'm older, they more understand that because I'm going through school and they're kind of like going through this journey with me. Um, yeah, I feel like, they've grown too as I've grown, and they're more understanding of things like that they do understand better, like depression, anxiety, even bipolar. Like, a couple of our family members have bipolar, but I think it's just the things that they don't understand, like addiction and schizophrenia, like I mentioned. Yeah. So the next question is, do you view counseling as an essential field? Why or why not? Well, I do hope that everybody making this statement video would say yes, because we all are in this program, but I do believe it's an essential field. I also I feel like we're reaching, this next generation. It's going to be a lot of AI. It's going to be a lot of robots. There's going to be more of like robots doing a lot of different jobs that we have people doing right now. But with counseling, like, that's not something that an AI robot is going to be able to do. Like, even now, like, they've just started doing this like Google AI stuff, and it's still getting the answers wrong. It's not fully understanding the questions all the time, and there's still some tweaking to do with that. I just feel like with counseling, like, you need a real human being who understands emotions, and, like, a robot's never gonna understand that. I do feel like it's becoming, like, a larger field, and counseling and, going to counseling, there's less stigma around it now, and I think that'll get any even further in the future. So, I there's so much of a need right now for counseling, and, it's becoming easily accessible, like, with things like, BetterHelp, telehealth. So, I do think it's essential. Like, I think counseling can really turn somebody's life around, get some, like, goals achieved, and I don't know, just dealing with like stresses of being a human. I think counseling can be great for everybody. So I do think that it's super essential. And I don't think that this is a career that's gonna be like going away anytime soon. Like will always be a need for a counselor. So, and the next question is, what are your thoughts about how people change? So, kind of hot take, unpopular opinion. I do believe that people can change. Um, I think that people deserve second chances if they've put the work in and they've actually changed and that's healthy for somebody. Like I think second chances are a good thing. And when I think about this question, like I mentioned earlier, like I think about addiction. I think about, somebody on drugs, that's changing like who they are and going sober, making amends, going to AA or NA or any of those, you know, taking the time, doing the work. I think those people can change absolutely, and I do think that they deserve second chances. That's just kind of what came to mind when I was thinking about this question. Like, I think that's absolutely true. So, I don't know. I think it's kind of circumstantial. Like, if it's not healthy for somebody to accept somebody back into their life, then like of course they shouldn't. But I don't know. I do believe that people can change for sure. And the next question is, what counseling settings and or populations are you interested in serving and why? So I want to work with kids, but I feel like a lot of people want to work with kids. I'd honestly be happy working anywhere right now. Um, I know beggars can't be choosers, like straight out of college. But I do really want to work with kids. I'm also really interested in working in like maybe like a eating disorder, like inpatient clinic or hospital. Um, I've always been super interested in eating disorders and I just think it would be really rewarding work. I feel like I know a lot about it. It's always been something that's been interesting to me. And kids as well, like I I feel like that work is so rewarding. Like by changing their life so young or like changing the course that they're going, getting them to understand coping skills and achieving their goals and that can change the rest of their life. So like for a better path. So I'm interested in both of those, but yeah, like I said, I'd really work anywhere right now. And the next question is, what skills you believe will help you in this field? Um, I've a lot of experience with kids and have my own just like firsthand experience with eating disorders. Um, I think I understand, I've been in counseling. I've, dealt with some of these struggles. I think I understand how these people are feeling and how scary it is to be like a young kid and not really know why you're struggling, but you are. I do, like I said, I have a lot of experience with kids. Like I've done a lot of babysitting. So I do think I'm good with kids. I have like three younger siblings and they're all significantly younger than me, like 9 years and younger. So I did a lot of babysitting with them. They always have friends over. I'm always talking to their friends. So I feel like I speak the kid language. Other than that, I feel like I have a lot of compassion, understanding. That's just something you need to have as a counselor in general. That's not something you can learn. Um, I'm still developing my counselor skills through this program. So, as that strengthens, I think I have the potential to do a really great job. Next question is, what skills you hope to gain from this program? So I have not yet started a practicum or internship yet. So that is something that I'm a little wary about right now is just like how am I going to be in a session, Am I going to say the right thing? Am I going to know what to say at all? So that is something that I want to strengthen. I do start my practicum in the fall, so as, I'm going through that and I'm starting to work with clients, um that'll be something that I definitely want to work on, is just like talking to clients, what's the right thing to say, or I guess not the right thing to say, that's so objective, but um yeah, I just want to know more about that. I want to be able to feel comfortable with a client. Like, I feel like in the beginning it's going to be pretty anxiety inducing, but yeah, I think that'll get better as I do my practicum, and definitely my internship will be doing a lot more hours. Um, Also, I feel like I'm already getting a pretty good understanding of techniques, just like counseling techniques, but I feel like I need to just keep going over those, and um just like increase my skills of like what technique you should be using in like a certain situation. Also, I really love how much this program has connected me with my peers. I feel like whenever I was coming into an online program, I thought I wouldn't meet anybody, but we actually have a pretty good community in this program. Even though we're all online and we never see each other, like I feel like I am connecting a lot with my peers just through different like group activities we do, and it's like, oh, I hate group work, but I am glad that I've gotten to meet some people, because without the group work, like we probably wouldn't talk. So that is something I also hope to gain from this, is just, connections, friendships. Um so yeah. And the last question is, what misconceptions do you think people have about this profession? Something that I get a lot is like when people ask me, "Oh, what do you do?" And I tell them that what I'm going to school for, what I always get is like, "Oh, can't talk to you. Like, you're analyzing me." Like, everyone thinks that I'm constantly analyzing and diagnosing them, like, by everything that they're saying to me, which is like, I'm not thinking about that. Like, I get that so much. Is like, my family has a joke that I'm like writing a book about all of them and everything that's wrong with them, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I do think like there's a huge misconception that as a counselor, like, we're just constantly judging. And I'm sitting in this chair, you're laying on this couch, and I'm judging. And I don't think that's I don't think that's true. I think, if you're coming in to be a counselor, you have that like just base of compassion, understanding. You want to listen, you want to help. So I think people just take that as, oh, well, they have to be judging. But no, I'm just listening. So yeah, thank you for listening.